Hello, hello, and welcome to the Telescope Show. We laugh, we discover God, and we totally nerd out. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson.
And I am Katie Seipel Anderson.
We are here at your service, ready to bring you to the galaxy far, far away. We're talking about Star Wars Andor. Episode 9 just released, and there are 12 episodes total, so we're coming into the home stretch.
So, our prediction episode.
You're not going to want to miss these epic predictions.
But before that, did you know that they actually built a city called Phoenix for the purpose of this show?
What?
An entire city.
That's pretty epic.
I just want to know if they used building code for it. I mean, there's a shortage of a lot of things right now, so how did they build an entire city for a movie set? That's what I want to know.
Ooh, that's a good question. That sounds like an expose. Did you know that the specific sets that they film are extremely detailed? And in an interview that I watched with Diego Luna, he said that the drawers in his house were actually filled with things, just props and things that you might expect to find in drawers, just to make it more realistic for the actors.
Would it be the things that we'd expect to find in drawers in our current house, or things in some galaxy far, far away? Do you think they used creativity and created like new tools or utensils or something?
I would suspect they did. My question is,
so they're not going to find like duct tape in one of the drawers or something?
Well, did they have a junk drawer? Because we have a junk drawer. I don't know about those of you listening, but we have a junk drawer with anything and everything you can imagine in it. And I think duct tape is one of those items.
It is.
We've got really amazing prop masters around the house.
And the junk drawer gets bigger and bigger and heavier as time goes on.
Yeah, totally.
So I say they probably do.
Yeah,
Everyone needs a junk drawer, whether you're an alien species or not, I think.
What do you think about the droid B2EMO?
He kind of provides a sad sort of humor in a show that's very not humorous.
Well, did you know that on most of these shows, they will film the visual part and then have someone off camera speaking the lines, but later on they go in and they create like the robotical voice or whatever. But on this show, they have the voice actor on set interacting in real time.
Is it the same guy that's doing like the remote controls, or is it a different person?
I'm not sure. I think I heard that they gave it to one of the puppeteers, so it might actually be, but I have a little kernel of doubt. So head over to StarWarsNewsNet.com and you can learn all about that.
Well, did you know that they handcrafted or hand-sewed some of the costumes?
That is artistry.
I guess the question is, by hand-sewed, does it include like a sewing machine, or does it literally have to be someone stitching little stitches into a costume? If they're detailed enough to have stuff in a junk drawer in someone's house, maybe they actually hand-sewed some of this stuff.
Probably a combination, unless there's some kind of principle of not using a sewing machine. But that's really cool. That's super cool that they didn't just have like mass-produced stuff. It was like made with true love.
Or not love if you like didn't want to be making it, but maybe love. Let's go with love.
If you're making your living designing fantastical costumes, I bet these people love it.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
I would not. But
so Katie, here's a question. Let's jump into our discussion on Andor. Was Andor Star Wars enough?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, it is a Star Wars show.
I've heard some criticisms that some people feel it's not Star Wars enough, whatever that means.
They're in the stars and they're kind of in a war, so it seems like it'd be Star Wars enough.
Boom.
Feeling kind of snarky today.
I think probably the most valid criticism I've heard is that there aren't many aliens.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's pretty much just, at least we don't think they're aliens because they look like people. Yeah, so I guess, is that a valid criticism or not?
I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be some reveals we're not expecting.
But it is pretty much just people-looking people.
Yeah, it's true. Well, speaking of people, what are some of your favorite characters?
It might come off as kind of weird, but I actually like Deidre.
Deidre.
She's a good villain. She's kind of this villain that you a little bit want to succeed because she's like a female trying to rise to power in a man's world, and they're all like dismissive of her, and she's like, nope, I've got some good stuff here, and she's like kind of climbing the ranks. And then you're like, whoa, she's really evil. She's really mean. I kind of was thinking they were going to like flip her to the good side or something because you're getting to know her character more. And then all of a sudden she does some really evil, mean things. And I'm like, whoa, nope, she's straight up bad.
Yeah, I think it's a huge testament to the great writing of this show. The characters are all really, really interesting, and they gave her a great story arc. And there's also, and I found a great interview with Denise Goh and Kyle Soller, who play Deidre and Cyril, these two villainous characters who are lower level in the Empire, but definitely rising up through the ranks of power. So
Deidre is rising up a lot faster, though.
Well, that's true. But
and Cyril, if that's how you pronounce his name, it's something like that. He's kind of on the creepy vibe with her.
Definitely, but he's trying to grab onto her coattails. And I think, well, I'm going to say what I think for later at the end of the show. Let's jump to this short interview, and then we'll come back and talk about...
Quick side note about the interview. Matt and I had this discussion about Deidre and our feelings on her actually before I even heard this interview. So apparently I'm along with feeling the same things everyone else.
I have the added pleasure of playing a woman in a man's world thing, and initially you really want her to succeed, but then you're kind of doing yourselves a disservice too, because it's like, it's not that clear. This woman is just as capable in the pursuit of power, which has always been what I have, even in my own personal thing. We are just as capable of doing the most heinous things for power.
I think they're really the heroes of their own journeys.
Yeah.
I think they really believe they're doing the right thing in the relative sphere of their own existence. And they both come from a place of lack and a desire to be seen and recognized. And this hunger for power and order in a fascistic realm is quite dangerous, but so seductive.
Okay, so after that interview, it's very clear that these characters are going to continue to grab for power and push for more authority, more resources to chase down our rebels.
And in the wake of it, it makes you wonder who else they're going to hurt, what else is going to happen, what other horrible things. Because whether you're male or female, whether you're rising to power, you're born with it, when you have a lot of power, it seems like there's such great potential for people to do such terrible things to masses of people in order to hold on to that power.
Yeah, especially when the road to gaining that power is so ruthless. And then when you finally get it, what kind of creature have you made yourself into? And that is something, unfortunately, that's played out over and over again throughout human history.
I mean, in all the different sectors, whether it's political, religious, business, banking, lending, whatever the various areas of power concentration, we see it, horrible things done.
Even within individual families where one person sort of dominates the rest of the family because they have all the money or whatever, it can just do bad things to people. But what I love is that when I look at the life of Jesus, I see someone who consistently resisted the draw to that kind of political or financial power, and his goal was always to influence people from the heart and at that grassroots level instead of trying to dominate people from the top down, like you see in Star Wars with the Empire. So another one of our good characters who's working to actually undermine the Emperor is Mon Mothma. She's the idealistic politician funding the rebellion. I'm really curious where her story is going to go, and I'm really enjoying watching all the political intrigue happening in her world as well.
It is interesting. And then with the banker, you just wonder, like, is he going to flip to bad? Is he actually good and helping her? Because he mentioned someone that she was like, definitely not. I'm not doing that. And now it sounds like she's
nervous.
She's nervous for good reason.
So let's jump into a few predictions. What do you think's going to happen with Mon Mothma and that situation where she's going to start working with some seedy people?
I think it's going to come to roost, and she's going to have to, like, abdicate or whatever it's called. She's going to have to hightail it out of there. I think she's going to live, but she's going to lose her family, and she's going to lose her position of power. I think it's going to come out.
I think that Cyril and Deidre are going to eventually work together, be on this hunt for this newly forming rebellion. And that's pretty obvious. They're setting that up. But I think it's going to be fun to watch how scary close they come to bringing it all down.
Yeah, they're definitely gaining information at a pretty rapid speed with their terrible techniques for getting information from people.
So we've got a lot of interesting characters, like you mentioned. What do you think of the character Saw Gerrera, and how is he going to figure into all this?
He seems like a wild card in this as well as in Rogue One. In Rogue One, he's like super cynical and mistrusting. Makes me wonder if he's a little more straightforward in this show, and then it backfires on him. And that's what causes his mistrust in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm. I think wild card is a great word. I think they're going to use him in some kind of unexpected way that it's going to just be like a wrench in the plans of somebody, whether it's the plans of the rebellion or the plans of the Empire, or both. Probably both, but I think he's going to be interesting. What do you think about Cassian's mom?
I kind of think she's going to die. I think she's going to be a martyr for the cause.
I think that Cyril's mom and Cassian's mom are going to have a lightsaber battle.
Oh, that's another reason why this one isn't very Star Wars-y. I guess there's no lightsabers.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
Right. Sad day.
Wait, is there one? Nope, I don't think so.
Not yet.
Maybe there'll be a lightsaber someplace.
They'll pass one in a museum or something.
Yeah, that is an interesting contrast with those mother-son relationships, seeing how they're different.
Absolutely. What do you think about the character Luthen?
He is an interesting character. It's going to be fun to see what they do with him, and I think that him and Cassian are going to meet again.
I'm curious to see if they'll give us any of his backstory.
Do you think he's going to die?
Probably.
Huh.
Probably. But I think he will live into season 2, because there is a season 2, so a lot of the things that we think are going to happen might not play out yet. It might be more of a slow thing. It could even be that Cassian only just gets on board with the rebellion at the very end of this, and then we see kind of the lead up to Rogue One in season 2. So I'm not really sure.
What if the Mandalorian ends up fighting Cassian, or trying to find Cassian? Because isn't he like I don't know how the time frames play out. But he's a bounty hunter, and isn't there a bounty on Cassian's head?
It could be a bounty hunter. They could bring in some bounty hunters. That would definitely be a way to make this feel more Star Wars. At this point in the timeline, it would be Boba Fett and some of those guys working for the Empire, because the Mandalorian show happens after Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I just wonder what would happen if the Mandalorian and Cassian were to, like, meet. Or Grogu and Cassian. Or
I don't
make
think
it feel more Star Wars-y, but I don't think we're going to find that out.
I don't think we're going to find out. But there is an aspect of the future that I can predict with a fairly high degree of certainty.
Cassian's going to live this series?
Yes, and the Telescope show is going to be at Twin Cities Con, November 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Coming up so quick.
Very fast, coming up this coming weekend. So if you are in the Twin Cities area,
or if you want to travel there,
it's not far. It's not far from California. It's not far from Texas.
Just a quick plane ride.
Just a quick plane ride. Hop up, see us, come hang out. So that's at the Twin Cities Convention Center. Definitely come and hang out with us. Make sure to check out our website where you can listen to all of our episodes. That's thetelescopeshow.com. Wherever you're listening to the show right now, feel free to tickle that subscribe button so that you...
Tickle it?
Okay, press it. You know, YouTubers and people like that, they come up with all these cute little things.
Smash
that like button, tickle that subscribe button. Why don't you just lightly touch the heat-sensitive pad on your phone, and it will engage the button. And you will be subscribed to the show, and you'll love it. And with that, we are going to say hasta la vista. Until next time, take care, God bless, bye-bye.